Reading English Story, The Little House in the Big Woods, Chapter 4, Part 2. Prince growl at you, Pa said. Yes, said Aunt Alisa. So then she started on again toward the spring. Uncle Peter went on, but Prince jumped into the path ahead of her and snared at her. He paid no attention to her talking and scolding. He just kept on showing his teeth and snaring. And when she tried to get past him, he kept in front of her and snapped at her. That scared her. I should think it would, Ma said. He was so savage. I thought he was going to bite me, said Aunt Alisa. I believe he wouldn't have. I never heard of such a thing, said Ma. What on earth did you do? I turned right around and ran into the house where the children were and slammed the door, Aunt Alisa answers. Of course, Prince was savage with strangers, said Uncle Peter. But he was always so kind to Alisa and the children. I felt perfectly safe to leave them with him. Alisa couldn't understand it at all. After she got into the house, he kept pegging around it and growling. Every time she started to open the door, he jumped at her and snared. Had he gone mad? Said Ma. That's what I thought, Aunt Alisa said. I didn't know what to do. There I was shut up in the house with the children and not daring to go out. And we didn't have any water. I couldn't even get any snow to melt. Every time I opened the door, so much as a crack, Prince acted like he would tear me to pieces. How long did this go on? Pa asked. All day till late in the afternoon. Aunt Alisa said, Peter had taken the gun, or I would have shot him. Around late in the afternoon, Uncle Peter said. He got quiet and lay down in front of the door. Alisa thought he was asleep, and she made up her mind to try to slip past him and get to the spring for some water. So she opened the door very quietly. But, of course, he woke up right away. When he saw she had the water pail in her hand, he got up and walked ahead of her to the spring, just the same as usual. And there, all around the spring in the snow, were the fresh tracks of a panther. The tracks were as big as my hand, said Aunt Alisa. Yes, Uncle Peter said. He was a big fellow. His tracks were the biggest I ever saw. He would have got Alisa sure if Prince had let her go to the spring in the morning. I saw the tracks. He had been lying up in that big oak over the spring, waiting for some animal to come there for water. Undoubtedly, he would have dropped down on her. Night was coming on when she saw the tracks, and she didn't wait any time getting back to the house with her pail of water. Prince followed close behind her, looking back into the ravine now and then. I took him into the house with me, Aunt Alisa said, and we all stayed inside till Peter came home. Did you get him? Pa asked Uncle Peter. No, Uncle Peter said. I took my gun and hunt all around the place. but I couldn't find him. I saw some more of his tracks. He'd gone on north, further into the big woods. Alice and Irma and Mary were all wide awake now, and Laura put her head under the covers and whispered to Alice, "My, weren't you scared?" Alice whispered back that she was scared, but Irma was scareder, and Irma whispered that she wasn't either any such thing. "Well, anyway, you made more fuss about being thirsty," Alice whispered. They lay there whispering about till Ma said, "Child, those children never will get to sleep unless you pay for them." So Pa got a fiddle. The room was still and warm and full of firelight. Ma's shadow and Aunt Alisa's and Uncle Peter's were big and quivering on the walls in the flickering firelight, and Pa fiddle sang merrily to itself. It sang "Money Mugs" and "The Red Heifer," "The Devil's Dream," and "Arkansas Traveler." And Laura went to sleep while Pa and the fiddle were both softly singing, "My darling Nellie Clay, they have taken you away, and I never see my darling anymore." In the morning, they all woke up almost at the same moment. They looked at their stocking, and something was in them. Santa Claus had been there. Alice and Irma and Laura in their red flannel nightgowns, and Peter in his red flannel nightshirt, all ran shouting to see what he had brought. In each stocking there was a pair of bright red mittens, and there was a long, flat stick of red and white strip peppermint candy, all beautifully knotted along each side. They were all so happy they could hardly speak first. They just looked with shining eyes at those lovely Christmas presents. But Laura was happiness of all. Laura has a rag doll. She was a beautiful doll. She has a face of white cloth with black button eyes. A black pencil had made her eyebrows, and her cheeks and her mouth were red with the ink made from pokeberries. Her hair was black yarn and had been knit and thread and raveled so that it was curly. She had little red flannel stocking and little black cloth gaiter of shoe, and her dress was pretty pink and blue calico. She was so beautiful that Laura could not say a word. She just held her right and forgot everything else. She didn't know that everyone was looking at her till Aunt Alisa said, "Did you ever see such big eyes?" The other girls were not jealous because Laura had mittens and candy, and a doll because Laura was a little girl, except baby Carrie and Aunt Alisa's little baby, Dolly Varden. The babies were too small for dolls. They were so small they did not even know about Santa Claus. They just put their fingers in their mouth and wrinkled because of all the excitement. Laura sat down on the edge of the bed and held her doll. She loved her red mitten and she loved the candy, but she loved her doll baseball. She named her Charlotte. Then they all looked at each other's mittens and tried on their own, and Peter bit a large piece out of his stick of candy, but Alice and Era and Mary and Laura licked theirs to make it last longer. Well, Uncle Peter said, isn't there even one stocking with nothing but a sweet in it? My, have you all been such good children? But they didn't believe the Santa Claus could really have given any of them nothing but a sweet. That happened to some children, but it couldn't happen to them. It was so hard to be good all the time, every day, for a whole year. You must teach the children, Peter, and Alisa said. Ma said, Laura, aren't you going to let the other girls hold your doll? She meant little girls must not be so selfish. So Laura let Mary take the beautiful doll, and then Alice held her a minute, and then Era. They smoothed the pretty dress and admired the red flannel stockings and the glitters, and their curly wool hair. But Laura was glad when at last Charlotte was safe in her arms again. Pa and Uncle Peter had each a pair of new, warm mittens knit in a little swirls of red and white. Ma and Auntie Alisa had made them. Aunt Alisa had brought Ma a large red apple sack full of cloves. How good it smelled, and it would not spoil, for so many cloves would keep it sour and sweet. Ma gave Aunt Alisa a little needle book she had made, with bits of silver covers and soft white flannel leaves into white to stick the needles. The flannel would keep the needles from rusting. They all admired Ma's beautiful blanket, and Aunt Alisa said that Uncle Peter had made one for her, of course, with different covering. Santa Claus had not given them anything at all. Santa Claus did not give grown people presents, but that was not because they had not been good. Pa and Ma were good. It was because they were grown up, and grown people must give each other presents. Then all the presents must be laid away for a little while. Peter went out with Pa and Uncle Peter to do the chores, and Alice and Ma helped Aunt Alisa make the beds, and Laura and Mary set the table while Ma got breakfast. For breakfast there were pancakes, and Ma made pancakes man for each one of the children. Ma called each one in turn to bring her plate, and each could stand by the stove and watch. While the spoonful of butter Ma put on the arm and the legs and the head. It was exciting to watch her turn the whole little man over, quickly and carefully, on a hot griddle. When it was done, she put it smoking hot on the plate. Peter ate the head off his hand right away, but Alice and Elma and Mary and Laura ate theirs slowly in a little bits, first the arm and legs, and then the middle, saving the head for the last. Today, the weather was so cold that they could not play outdoors, but there were the new method to admire and the candy to lick, and they all sat on the floor together and looked at the picture in the Bible and the picture of all kinds of animals, as birds in a big screen look. Laura kept Charlotte in her arms the whole time. Then there was the Christmas dinner. Alice and Ella and Peter and Mary and Laura did not say a word at the table, for they knew that the children should be seen and not heard. But they did not need to ask for second helpings. Ma and Aunt Alisa kept their plates full and let them eat all the good things they could hold. Christmas comes but once a year, said Aunt Alisa. Dinner was early because Aunt Alisa, Uncle Peter, and the cousins had such a long way to go. Best the horses can do, Uncle Peter said. Well, Hardy Leg make it home before dark. So as soon as they had eaten dinner, Uncle Peter and Pa went to put the horses to the sled, while Ma and Aunt Alisa wrapped up the cousins. They pulled away woolen stock. They pulled heavy woolen stocking over the woolen stocking and the shoe they were already wearing. They put on mittens and coats and warm hoods and shawls and wrapped mufflers around their necks and thick woolen wipes over their face. Ma slipped piping hot baked potatoes in their pockets to keep their fingers warm, and Aunt Alisa, Freyon, were hot on the stove, ready to put at their feet in the sled. The blankets and the quilts, and the buffalo robes were warm too. So they all got into the big boxer, cozy and warm, and Pa tucked the last robe well in around them. Goodbye, goodbye, they called, and off they went, the horses rattling gaily and the sleigh bell singing. In just a little while the merry sound of the bells was gone, and Christmas was over. But what happened Christmas it had been.